It's interesting. So I was a scientist at least through graduate school. I got a PhD in cognitive neuroscience, and I really enjoyed doing science. I would have been perfectly happy doing it, but I took a sabbatical during grad school. I just had a summer job for like 5-6 weeks writing for a travel guide, and it was a lot of fun, and it came pretty easily to me. It's one of these things, where if you're kind of a fluent, fast writer, like Gina Colada mentioned this morning, she was a really fast writer, and when you are, it's you don't really value it until you're put in a position where that's something that you can be hired for and have a career for. And I'd never really thought about it before, so realized that was good and fun. So I started just sitting in on classes at the journalism school at Berkeley, and then I went to the UC Santa Cruz science writing program, which it's been around, I think, maybe even 30 years now, but very smart program where they take scientists and teach them how to be writers. It's just a 9-month program. It's very kind of craft-based. Here's how you write a story for a newspaper, for a magazine. This is how you do reporting. Here's just a crash course in journalistic ethics, which are different from scientific ethics. That both have very set worldviews about what's right and wrong. And then it was fairly easy after that to transition. I got a job at Science Magazine, and I worked there for about 5 years, and then I've been at Smithsonian for about 6. I think there are multiple places. I think there are a lot of places where science is essential, is not involved as much as it should be. And I think certainly in the world of journalism, there is a certain segment of the market, in magazines, a few pages in some very good newspapers, and certainly plenty of blogs that are devoted to science. But it's really the case that in mass media in general, there's not a lot of scientific sophistication. I wish there were a lot more. The problem right now, as the modes of disseminating information, as the whole media landscape has completely changed, what's happening is you're getting that your signal-to-noise ratio, the signal is getting a little bit smaller because there have been so many layoffs of really seasoned, very experienced journalists. They're being laid off as newspapers close or trim down. A lot of magazines also are closing or trimming down. And then you're also, on the other side is even more fundamentally, you're just increasing the noise. So I don't know what to do about that. I mean, I think it's a huge problem that there's so much misinformation out there, yes, about vaccines causing autism, which is completely, it is so false. And and yet if you just do a basic Google search, it's one of the first things to come up. So I think one of the problems is that people who don't know about the importance of science, it's getting harder all the time to learn about the rightful place of science. And there's nobody controls the internet, so people can put whatever crap out there they want to. And what we try to do in the sort of responsible media is have stories that are responsible, are accurate, and are also fun to read, and engaging and inspiring, and that will kind of draw enough audience. I mean, any media wants to, or any publication wants to compete for eyeballs in the new media market, but I think it's essential for people who are presenting science in a responsible way in the media market to make it more interesting than the conspiracy theories and the urban legends and all the other noise you're competing with. Well, that's tough. I mean, I'm very glad to hear people in important positions in government saying that it's the rightful place is to guide government policy, whether it comes to fisheries or energy or all these other things. I mean, that's sort of an obvious and good and absolutely perfect place for it. From my perspective, thinking about the place of science in sort of communicating with the public, there's the place I wish it had, which is, I wish people were not just more interested in it, but less resistant to it, less threatened by it. And that's a lot of what science journalists do is try to say, no, really, it's not scary. Here, let me hold your hand, just, take a little step, and isn't that interesting, and here's a little bit more, and here's a reward of a picture of an elephant. And so that's, we're really trying to just break down people's fear and resistance to science, which is not, it's not scientists' fault that science is scary. I think some of this, they inherit from their parents, they pick it up at school, they didn't do well in science in class, or they think it's a foreign language, which it is a foreign language. Scientists live in a different culture. So for all these reasons, they're intimidated, and so, the rightful place of science. You know, so science itself has its place, but what science communicators try to do is bring more people to that place and make that place more more open, more welcoming, easier to understand for the rest of the world.
Mm-hmm.